Right up until the time I decided to start collecting a complete in box Super Nintendo library, I kept finding great deals for the Super Nintendo. And I would always think, man, if I was collecting Super Nintendo, then that would be really easy. I'd just keep finding deals left and right for this system. But I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole of collecting a complete in box library of games again. I just wanted to collect the games that I wanted for my collection. But the deals kept rolling in, and the more they did, the more I started wanting to collect for the system. So finally, this last lot that I got ended up being the one that kind of changed my mind and made me finally decide to just go for the complete in box library. This lot I'm about to show you was 99 cents starting bid on eBay, or buy it now for $350. And this lot was worth around $975, so I have no idea where the seller came up with the price for it. Usually when something has a starting bid and then it has a buy it now, usually when somebody makes a bid, the buy it now option goes away. But somebody had bid the 99 cents. Why they didn't just buy it for $350, I don't know. But somebody had a bid on it already, but the buy it now didn't go away. Sometimes it doesn't go away for some reason. So I immediately bought this lot. And the way I came across the lot is I was looking for one specific game, Axillary, because I actually wanted to play it and add it to the collection. And when that popped up on eBay as one of my saved searches, the whole lot popped up. And it was titled only Super NES Complete in Box Lot. That's all it said in the title. So I don't know if a lot of people didn't see it or what, but it was way too good of a deal to pass up, and that's why I jumped on it. And when I got it, I just decided it's time to go for the complete set. So today we have 23 games, boxes, and manuals that we'll be adding to the collection. Let's check them out. And the first game up is Axillary. Axillary was developed and published by Konami, releasing for the Super Nintendo in 1992. Some people enjoy vertical shmups, some prefer horizontal shmups. In Axillary, you'll get the best of both worlds. There are 6 stages in Axillary, and they alternate between vertical and horizontal stages. The vertical stages are like a mix between a regular top-down vertical shmup and Space Harrier. It gives you a feel of traveling over a planet. It takes some time getting used to, but you get the hang of it. You get 3 weapons during the game, and you can change between them during gameplay. If you get hit by an enemy, you lose one of your weapons. If you crash into something, you blow up altogether. Axillary is a lot of fun once you get some practice. I'm usually more of a vertical shmup fan, but I actually prefer the horizontal stages in this game. If you end up dying in a level, you start all the way back at the beginning of the stage. There are no halfway points in the levels, so it can be frustrating getting to the final boss and having to start all over, especially if it's your first time playing the game and learning the levels. The control of the ship is good, but I'm not a big fan of how the ship automatically travels back to the center of the screen on the vertical parts. Being a Konami game, the music is of course excellent. Overall, Axillary is a fun game and worth playing if you're a fan of shmups. Axillary is game number 6 for the collection, and because it's a lot, I'll be putting the price at the end of the lot. And the next game we have up is Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball. Bill Laimbeer's Combat Basketball was developed and published by Hudson Soft, releasing for the SNES in 1991. Combat Basketball is a basketball game with a story. Bill Laimbeer was forced to retire due to his competitive style of playing. But as times change, Bill becomes the commissioner of the league in 2030, fires all the refs, and then allows for weapons and no fouls. I watched a few other reviews of this game, and the major complaint of those reviews were the controls. No one knew which buttons were which. After reading the instruction manual, you'll find the answer to that is B. B does everything. B tackles, B passes, and B shoots. The confusion comes from when you hit the B button. If you push any of the directional buttons in the B button, you'll pass the ball if you have one, or tackle if you don't. To shoot the ball, you can't be pushing any of the directional buttons. You just push B while standing still. If you're facing the basket, you'll shoot quickly, and if you're facing away, you'll shoot slower. Despite knowing the controls, the mechanics still feels broken. The graphics are plain and boring as well. The music is there, but it's nothing special, and there's just not a huge fun factor to the game. This is the first basketball game I've reviewed on the SNES, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that if you want to play a basketball game on the Super Nintendo, avoid this one because there's better ones out there. Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball is game number 7 for the Super NES Complete in Box Quest. Next game up is Chess Master. The Chess Master was published by Mindscape, releasing for the Super Nintendo in 1991. If you're in the mood for a game of chess, here you go. The Chess Master is more than just a game of chess. You have a ton of options in the game to choose from that will help you learn how to play the game if you're unsure how. You can ask the Chess Master for advice or even take back moves using the L or R button. Despite all this, I still got spanked. Chess just isn't my game. Besides these features, you can also choose to play with or without music. I suggest playing the game without the music because the music is annoying and will destroy your concentration. The graphics are fuzzy and blend together. However, you can change the look of the pieces from 3D to 2D, which helps make the board look more clean. You can also change the pieces to fantasy mode, which is kinda interesting. The controls are good, so navigating the game in menus is easy. Overall, Chess Master will do the job if you're looking to play a game of chess, but it's nothing spectacular. And the Chess Master is game number 8 for the SNES Quest. Up next we have DForce. DForce was developed by Cream and published by Asmik. It released for the Super NES in 1991. DForce is a vertical shmup and one you should avoid. This is a subpar shooter at best. The graphics and scenery are bland and boring. The enemies are repetitive and the bosses look like something that came out of a children's book. The music isn't the worst I've ever heard, but it all sounds the same throughout the game and it feels depressing. The controls are decent, but the game suffers from some of the worst slowdown I've ever seen in a game. One interesting thing I can say about the game is you can move up and down on the exploration stages. It's a neat idea, but even that has a flaw. You can't see what enemies are above you, so you can crash right into them when going up. DForce does have a normal and easy mode, and you can also increase your lives. In easy mode, you'll get to keep all your weapon upgrades if you crash, which is nice. Lose all your lives and you go on a long, dramatic crash. There are much better shmups to play on the SNES. DForce is game number 9 for the collection. Next up we have Earth Defense Force. Earth Defense Force was developed and published by Jaleco, shooting onto store shelves in 1991. Let's take a moment and listen to the startup of the game. Man, it sounds like you're about to play the best game ever released on the Super Nintendo. It has all the hype. But will it deliver? Moving on, you can select from normal or hard mode. Before you start, you have a huge selection of weapons to choose from. However, most are completely useless. In EDF, many of the enemies are coming from above and behind you. So the only logical weapon to really choose is a homing weapon. It is a weaker weapon, but its usability makes up for that tenfold. The gameplay is average for a shmup. It's not a bad shooter, but it's not the greatest either. The controls feel good, which is needed to avoid everything going on the screen. This game also experiences slowdown, but nothing too extreme like DForce. The music is pretty good and does the job well. The visuals are also pleasing to the eye. If you like shmups, which I hope you do after watching this video, EDF is worth checking out. And Earth Defense Force is game number 10 for the library. And the next game up is Gun Force. Gun Force was developed and published by IREM and ported onto the SNES in 1992. Gun Force is a run and gun game. The story goes, commandos have attacked the Earth and you become part of a multinational army called Gun Force. Visually, Gun Force looks pretty good. I don't really have any complaints with that. However, like many of the other games we've covered in this episode, the game does suffer from some slowdown. But that's not my biggest gripe. The controls, man. Your character jumps and floats in the air like Neil Armstrong hopping on the moon. The controls and the way the character moves really take away from the game. The music is there, but it really doesn't match what's going on. Here you are blasting away commandos attacking the earth, and you have calming music in the background. The sound effects are pretty cool though, especially when driving the vehicles. The game is only 5 levels and is really short. You also have a 2-player option in the game, so you can play with a friend. DForce isn't a terrible game, but they could have done so much better with it. Despite its flaws, it's a cheap game and worth giving a shot. And DForce is game number 11 for the Super NES Complete in Box Quest. Up next we have a sports game, Hole-in-One Golf. I know, sports games, right? Well, we have to play all 713 of these. So, let's start getting them knocked out. Hole-in-One Golf was developed and published by HAL Laboratory and swung onto store shelves in 1991. Hole-in-One Golf is exactly what I pictured a golf game on the Super Nintendo looking like. Although I'm not big into golf games, Hole-in-One Golf didn't really bore me, nor did it overly excite me. It's pretty cool that it's a 4-player game, so if you had a group of friends over that wanted to play golf and wanted to play the Super Nintendo and wanted to play golf on the Super Nintendo, well, here you go. You can huddle around the TV and listen to calming music and enjoy easy gameplay. Well, getting used to the swinging and putting takes a little getting used to, but it's fairly easy overall. You pick up your club, adjust your stance, and hit A to swing the club, A to stop your swing, and A one last time to hit the ball. If you don't stop the meter in the right spot, your ball is not going to go anywhere close to where you want it to. Hole-in-One Golf is an okay golf game for the system. Hole-in-One Golf puts into game number 12 for the collection. Next up on our list is Hyperzone. Another game developed and published by HAL, Hyperzone is a rail shooter that released in 1991. Let's get this out of the way. It looks just like F-Zero. However, this isn't a racing game like F-Zero. Your goal is to collect as many points as possible by shooting things. You can speed up or slow down in the game, but it doesn't matter how fast or slow you go. You do, however, lose points if you brake too much. The controls are good, but you really don't have anywhere to go. If you go off the track, you get shocked and lose health. The game also requires you to constantly push the fire button, which will make your arm tired after a while. Visually, the game looks great. The first level reminds me of the carpet at a bowling alley in the early 90s. The music tracks are good and go along with the game great. Another thing this game has in common with F-Zero is the power pads. You fly over them to regenerate your health. In F-Zero, these were areas of relief. In Hyperzone, they place a horde of enemies around them, so you lose health quicker than you gain it a lot of times. Hyperzone can be fun and a good waste of time. It's not very expensive, so it's worth checking out. Hyperzone is game number 13 for the Super Nintendo Complete in Box Quest. Up next we have Jack Nicklaus Golf. Jack Nicklaus Golf was developed by Sculptured Software and published by Tradewest. It swung into stores in 1992. Another golf game for the SNES. So how does it hold up to Hole-in-One Golf? Well, you have 2 courses to choose from in this game, and you can also practice on the driving range and practice putting. You can also design your own course, but you take holes from the 2 other courses. Those are the only good things going for it. The graphics are all blurry, swinging the club and hitting the ball is not far as user-friendly as it is in Hole-in-One Golf, and the load time is ridiculous. Seriously, why is a cartridge game loading a course like this? When playing the course, it's completely silent besides a few sound effects. Not that you'd want the music from the menus constantly playing because it's not very good. If I had to choose one to play, I'd pick Hole-in-One Golf over Jack Nicklaus Golf. And Jack Nicklaus Golf is game number 14 for the collection. Alright, so I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. Playing these games and writing the reviews already took me all week. And it's going to take me a really long time to edit the video too. And I really want to get these videos pushed out quickly because we have so many games to cover. And if you're wondering what these games are facing out behind me, those are games I just recently got in the mail for future episodes. And there's some good ones here. Final Fight Guy, Metal Warriors, 3 Ninjas, probably one of the worst boxes to find on the system. International Superstar Soccer, Captain Commando, Fire Dogs, Flintstones, that's not really rare or anything like that, but it came in one of the lots, and Flintstones, Treasure of Sierra Madrock. And if you collect Super Nintendo Complete Box, you know just how hard it is to find some of these boxes. Make sure to subscribe for part 2, where we add the games to the price counter and add them to the collection. Also make sure to leave a thumbs up for Axillary. Until next time, I'm Gamer Wayne, and thanks for watching.